In this video, we will discuss about essential word or part of a flower. First one is androecium or stamen. Stamen consists of two parts, filament and anther. Anther is attached to the filament. Anther forms pollen grain and filament is considered as sterile part because it is not playing role in reproduction. Stamens collectively called androecium, and androeciums are male reproductive organs. In anther part of stamen there are two lobes and each lobe is attached by a sterile band that is called connective. So two lobes of anther, they are attached in the middle with the help of sterile band which is called connective. There are flowers in which two lobes are present in anther. They are called biathecous. And certain flowers, they have only one lobe in their anther. They are called monothecous. An example of monothecous flower is China rose. And if stamen is sterile or underdeveloped, not playing role in reproduction, then that type of stamen is called staminode. And if stamen is shorter than the flower, what term we will use for that? Inserted. And if stamen protrude out of the flower, as here in this picture, this stamen is moving out of the flower or protruding out of the flower, such type of stamens are called exserted. And fusion with the dissimilar organ, when stamen is attached or fused with different part of flower, then what is called that? Adhesion. And if stamen fused with the stamen or fusion with a similar organ, that is called cohesion. Cohesion between stamen is of three types. Means when stamen fuse with stamen. There are three types of cohesion. First one is adelphous. In adelphous, stamens are fused by their filament only. As stamen has two parts, anther and filament. But if there are more stamens in a flower, but those stamens are fused, but which part of those stamens are fused? Only filament. There is fusion of only filaments and their anthers are free. In this diagram, anthers are free but filaments are fused. Means how many stamens are there? 1, 2, 3. Anthers are free, filaments are fused. We call it adelphous. These stamens are called adelphous. And adelphous are of three types. If filaments fused but together they form only one bundle of stamen, then that is called monoadelphous. And if stamens, they are fused, only their filament part is attached, but how many bundles they form? 2 bundles. And in some flowers, many stamens are there. They fused with the help of their filaments. Their anthers are free, but how many bundles they are forming? Many bundles. Then what term we will use? Polyadelphous. Monoadelphous, in which only single bundle is formed. You can see this in China rose. And diadelphous, 2 bundles are formed there by the fusion of stamens. We can see this in pea. And polyadelphous in citrus fruits, where many stamens, they fused but they arranged themselves in 2 bundles. As in case of pea, you will study under families that stamens are present in which kind of arrangement? 9+1 arrangement. Then next one is syngenesious. First one, on the basis of cohesion between stamen, there are three types. First one we discussed, that is adelphous. Second is syngenesious or synanthers. In syngenesious, stamens are fused by anthers. Their anthers are attached, fused, but their filaments are free. Here in this diagram, there are 4 stamens. Their filaments are free. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 filaments, they are free. But fusion of anther is there. So what term we use for such type of fusion? Syngenesious. Fused anther, free filaments. And fused anthers, they form a ring around the gynoecium. Where you can see syngenesious? In case of sunflower. Third one is synandrous. Stamens are fused by both their filament as well as by their anther. Here in this picture, anther are fused, filaments are fused. Where you can see synandrous stamens in case of cucurbita. And on the basis of adhesion, we can see such type of flowers around us. That is, first one is epipetalous flower. When stamen is fused or attached with the petal, we call those flower epipetalous flower. And when this male part, this stamen, it is attached with female part, then it is called gynandrous. In many flowers, you can see this type of arrangement, this type of attachment. So dear students, start your observation from today onward, that what kind of arrangement or what kind of attachment is shown by the stamen within the particular flower. So when stamen is attached with pistil, pistil is female part, then we call it gynandrous. And when stamen, they are attached with tepals, what term we will use? Epiphyllous. This term tepal is new to you people. So to explain this, that what is tepal, before that you have to understand the meaning of this perianth. What is perianth? If there is no distinction between sepal and petals, in most of the flower, sepals we can see them separately, and petals, they are the brightly colored part, we can see them. But there are some flower in which there is no distinction between sepal and petal. In this case, we use this term perianth for them, where there is no distinction between sepal and petal. Individual segment of petal is called tepal. If stamen of flower is attached with tepal, then it is called epiphyllous. Now, fixation of anther. That anther and filament together, they are forming the stamen. So how anther is attached to the filament? We will study under this fixation of anther topic. That here in the first pic, filament is attached to the anther at its base, where anther is fixed directly at the top of the filament, or filament is lying or attached at the base of anther. This is called basifixed, where you can see the type of arrangement of anther and filament. Like anther is completely lying on filament in case of mustard, in case of radish flower. And in some flower, you can see that their anther and filament, their filament becomes continuous with the connective. Here this connection is called connective. So filament become in continuity with the connective. So when it happened, what term we use? Adnate. When filament continuous with the connective. Where you can see this? Adnate in water lily. Then third one is dorsifixed. Here in this pic, filament is attached to the back of anther and it is present in prunus flower. Last, that is versatile. Here, same like this, Filament is at the back of anther. But here anther they can swing freely. You can see this versatile anther arrangement or anther attachment to the filament in grasses. Next, dehiscence of anther. When anther become mature, you already know, you studied in class 10 that anther they form pollen grains. So when anther become mature, they dehydrate, they lose their water, and then they form a slit. From that slit there is release of pollen grain, that is called dehiscence of anthers.